Morning. It's Thursday, November 10th. And even though Trump has continued to file these lawsuits in various places, and his record is like 1 for 40 or something, he got to the Supreme Court and that was knocked out with a single sentence. Basically, he sent a note to Alito that they wanted to sue. Alito turned it over to the whole court, and all 9 of the justices said no, and Trump got a 1-sentence letter that says your request has been denied. And you would think that that would be sending a message to everybody that's associated with Trump and his lawsuits. Now Trump won't give up, and now he's got a compatriot in Texas. The Attorney General, Ken Paxton, who's opened his toolkit and has now asked the U.S. Supreme Court in a petition to effectively turn over the results of 4 other states, 4 states in the presidential election. Those states are Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Michigan, and Wisconsin. And he's claiming that they unlawfully changed voting laws because of the pandemic. Now, maybe they did adjust the voting laws because of the pandemic. Does that make it unlawful in an emergency situation? And he contends that Texas voters were harmed by the state's alleged violation of equal protection laws. Now, he's filing for 4 states. Where's he bringing Texas into this thing? This is absurd. Absurd that... Now, we all know that the United States is a litigious society. People sue for anything, for any reason. But this is insane. You're bringing out 40, 45 suits and losing all of them, wasting time, wasting money. There should be a penalty. There should be a penalty for frivolous lawsuits. There should be a penalty for showing up in court without evidence. You know, if you do that once or twice, you made a mistake. If you continue to do that, maybe your law license should be taken away from you. Maybe you should be put in jail for 10 or 15 days for wasting everybody's time. Anyhow, getting back to Paxton, he has the strange idea that states should be able to intervene in their counterparts' election procedures. So he's saying, if I don't like the way one of the states is doing their election requirements and procedures, I could step in and make them change it or do something about it. It's the most ridiculous argument you could ever imagine. We have states' rights. The governors of the state are in control. It's nobody else's business. They can't step in. The federal government can't step in unless they're doing something that is totally unconstitutional. But then it's the federal government. It's not another state. Because if New York has a hard-on with the people from New Jersey, because when they come across the Washington Bridge, they cause problems in Manhattan, and then the governor of New York is going to screw around with the governor of New Jersey. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So the man is a nutcase that he could try and do this kind of thing. And just based upon what the Supreme Court did with the president's note to Alito, I can just imagine what the Supreme Court is going to tell this idiot. Right? And maybe the governor of California is going to look at the Texas voting requirements and say, they're all screwed up. You're not letting all the people vote. So could you imagine that if one state could look over the shoulder of another state, the chaos this country would be in? Because you know these state governors are not the brightest people in the world. We see that all the time. We have watched what they have done to this country when the president elected to put the pandemic in their hands. Can you imagine if one governor could look over the shoulder of another governor and screw with their rulings and the things that they want to do in their state? Is that not insane? Is that not crazy? This guy Paxton, should be sent to Creedmoor or someplace like that. Or Pilgrim State. If Pilgrim State was still open, he belongs there. And I'll bet you This guy walks around with a gun. Can you imagine? This guy has a gun. He's liable to say, I'm allowed to shoot the governor for his voting procedures. No, you can see, if you take a look at this situation, you can see the absurdity that's running through this country. And it's just an absurdity that starts at the top and just trickles down. And I'm going to say this out loud so people can hear it. Trickles down to the madness that goes on in the red states. The red states that haven't brought their people into the 20th century yet. And that's why they have so much trouble in those states. Because those states are behind the rest of the country in technology and good paying jobs. Those are the states where people are living the way they lived 100 years ago. And they are dependent on industries that are 100, 200 years old. They ended up to speed, right? And that's how we get guys like Paxton running around loose. And this guy Paxton, on top of everything else, is facing federal charges for doing favors for people who gave him campaign funding, and there's several other charges hanging over his head. So this is the guy that wants to change the laws and everything. This guy is a loose cannon, and he should be fired. And the funny thing is that the governor, Abbott, who had the attorney general job before this and was known for the fact that he brought many lawsuits against President Obama, should be watching this guy and firing him. And I'm exhausted by this, so I will quit for the day and see you all in the morning. Bye.